the theatrical performance also get great attractions here. Firstly, I will show you a video clip for you guys to have a direct impression for Beijing, okay? Okay, did you guys can see the screen?
Yes, 老师。
Okay, great.
Yes, Laoshi.
Okay, this video has shown some places of Beijing. Okay, and here I will show some landmarks in Beijing to you. Okay. The first one is the Forbidden City. In Chinese, we call it 紫禁城. Okay, the Forbidden City is a vast ancient architectural complex located in the center of Beijing and covering an area of some 720,000 square meters and 961 meters in length and 753 meters in width. And it's regarded as the finest example of traditional Chinese architecture, and surrounded by a 5.2 meters wide and 6 meters deep moat and 10 meters high walls were 9,999 rooms. For this part, did you guys know why this number? What meaning? Did you guys remember the meaning of the numbers? 9. No.
It's mean 900 floor. Am I right, Laoshi?
No. My question is that why the number of the rooms are 9,999. In the chapter of the numbers, we have talked about a lot about the meaning of the numbers. I have mentioned this part. I don't know you guys whether you remember this. 9. What's the meaning of 9? No. 9 represent some auspiciousness, right? And the emperor want to hold the forever long holding of their powers as 9 in Chinese. How do we say 9? jiu, right? Jiu, the same pronunciation with forever lasting. That's now you can know why the people want to use 9,999 rooms for Forbidden City. You can guess?
Yeah, got it, Laoshi.
Okay, because this place is where the emperor live. So the emperor want to be in power forever. So he used these numbers. Okay, let's continue. And the walls of Forbidden City have a gate on each side. They are unique and exquisitely structured, watching towers on each of the four corners of the wall, and they often view over both the palace of the outside. Okay, the Forbidden City is divided into two parts. In the southern section or the outer section. In Chinese, we call it 外朝 and 内廷. Okay, the emperor exercised his supreme power over the nation, and the northern section of the inner court was the place where he lived with his royal family. Okay, and until 1924, when the last emperor of China was expelled from the intercourt, 14 emperors of the Ming dynasty and 10 emperors of the Qing dynasty has reigned in this palace. Okay, and having been the imperial palace for over 5 centuries, it houses numerous rare treasures and curios, and listed by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage Site in 1987. The Forbidden City is now one of the most popular tourist attraction in the world. And for this picture, did you know what's this? I have shown you before. Anyone can remember? No.
A treasure box, Laoshi.
No. The chair for
the
emperor. Yeah. How to say it in Chinese? A little difficult. The chair for emperor. How to say in Mandarin? 龙椅. Okay.
No clue, Laoshi.
龙椅. Okay.
Lumpy.
椅子 means chair. Okay. Okay, the next is Tiananmen. Okay, Tiananmen Square. Okay, the Tiananmen Square is the symbol of New China. It's one of the largest square in the world, and the Tiananmen Gate Tower standing imposing at the northern end of the square. The red 5-star flag flying high above in the sky, and the monument of the people's hero is at the center of the square, and west of the square is the Great Hall of the People, and while the east of the square is the National Museum of China. And the chairman Mao Zedong Memorial Hall sits at the southern east of the square, and tens of thousands of visitors each day confirm the significance of the Tiananmen Square. Okay, you can see this place. And this one is Great Wall. In Chinese, we call it 万里长城. Okay, 长城. The first major wall was built during the reign of the Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the 3rd century BC. This war was not constructed as the single endeavor, but rather it was created by the joining of several regional wars built by some states in the warring states the period. And today's Great War of China is also known as the Great War of 10,000 Li. In Chinese, we call it 万里长城. It was built from the end of 14th century until the beginning of the 17th century, and during the Ming Dynasty to protect people from raids by the northern build. So you guys know for what reason Chinese built the Great Wall. It's to protect people from raids by the northern tributes. Okay. And today, the practical function of the Great Wall as a defense work no longer exists, but its beauty has remained up to now. The Great Wall snakes across China's landscape like a huge sleeping dragon, rising and falling with the undulating mountains ridge. And the beauty of the Great Wall comes from its magnificence, firmness, grandeur, and boldness. And it was an expression of the pioneer spirit of Chinese who persevere and dare to make progress, and conveying deep national sentiments. And therefore, the Great Wall is not only beautiful, but it's a symbol of characters of the Chinese nation. It has never failed to stun visitors with its grandeur and splendor. And in 1987, it was listed by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage Site. Okay. You can imagine how difficult people put the stone together to build the wall in ancient times. They don't have machines. They don't have cars. They only have they have hands to put the big stones to build this great wall. And the next one is the Temple of Heaven. It's called, in Chinese, it's called Tiantan. Okay, the Temple of Heaven is a masterpiece of architecture and landscape design. It's situated in the southern part of Beijing, and it stands as the finest of all China's temple. You can see this picture. And it was once the palace where the Ming and the Qing emperors worshipped the god of heaven and prayed for good harvest. And the symbolic layout and the design of Temple of Heaven had a profound influence on architecture in China over the century. There are two walls enclose the Temple of Heaven. The north wall is semi-circular, while the southern wall is square, which reflects the ancient Chinese belief that heaven is round and the earth is square, and the northern ground are higher than the southern part, signifying that heaven is above the earth. Okay, and the two enclosing wall divide the temple into inner and the outer section, and the circular mount altar and the hall of the prayer for good harvest lie at the southern and the northern ends of the central axis of the inner section and are connected by the sacred way, okay? And the Temple of the Heaven is a cultural museum of offering sacrifice to heaven, which merged architecture, aestheticals, auxers, astronomy, calendars, music, and dance into an integral ones. And it's an important window through which we can learn the history of China, okay? And here, this one is Summer Palace. Okay, Summer Palace. The Summer Palace lie about 15 kilometers northwest of Beijing, and covering an area of some 300 hectares. It's the largest imperial garden in the world. And the initial construction of the Summer Palace began in 1750, commissioned by the Emperor Qianlong as a gift for his mother on her birthday, and the plundering by foreign troops in 1816 destroyed the most of the buildings, but then they were renovated in 1886 by Emperor Cixi. Okay, and the Summer Palace consists primarily of the Longevity Hill and the Kunming Lake. And there are over 3,000 ancient structures, including pavilion, bridge, corridors, halls, and a palace. And it's a veritable museum of classical Chinese garden architecture. So if you guys are interested in imperial gardens, maybe this place is the one you can never miss. Okay. And this one is Ming Tubes. In Chinese, we call it Ming 13ling. Okay. The Ming Tube are situated at the foot of Heavenly Longevity Mountain in the northern of Beijing. And among the 16 emperors in the Ming Dynasty, 3 were buried in this area, and along with 23 empress and many concubines, princess and prince and maids, with all their troops take up over 40 square kilometers. And in this area, each tube has its own independent unit, and the layout and arrangement of all the 3 tubes are very similar, but they are vary in size and the complexity of their structures. And each tube was built in an area at the foot of mountain, okay? And with distance ranging from half a kilometers to 8 kilometers between them, okay? And also, the tube reflect the philosophy of the unity of heaven and humanity. Okay, and besides these landmarks, what we mentioned, there are also many palaces in Beijing. If you have the opportunity, don't miss traveling Beijing. Okay. Okay, here is the place of Hangzhou. Okay, Hangzhou. Hangzhou is situated at the southern tip of Yangtze Delta. Hangzhou was the capital of Yue State and the 5 Dynasty, and then and 10 Kingdoms period are also the capital of the Southern Song Dynasty. And in the Yuan Dynasty, Italian traveler Marco Polo was impressed by the beauty of Hangzhou and lauded it as the most beautiful and elegant city in the world. Okay, and Hangzhou is famous for its surrounding hills and beautiful sceneries, especially the West Lake, and the other tourist attraction including the pagoda of 6 harmonies, the Linyin Temple, and here I will show you one by one. And this one is for West Lake. Okay, Hangzhou's fame is largely due to this picturesque West Lake, situated in the west of the city. It's enclosed on 3 sides by low hills and covering an area of 6.38 square kilometers. And the lake is known for 10 famous attractions. So if you interested in Hangzhou, you can search them one by one, okay, after class. And this one is Linyin Temple, okay. Linyin Temple is located in the northern west of Hangzhou, not far from the West Lake. This temple was built by Master Hui Li, a monk from Western India and the Eastern Jin dynasty. It has large hills, clear springs, and streams, as well as the beautiful trees and many historic relics and caves. Okay. And this one is the pagoda of 6 harmonians. This pagoda stands on the Yuelun Mountain on the northern bank of Qiantang River. Okay, and from the top of the pagoda, people can overlook the vast Qiantang River and the surrounding fields, which is a breathtaking view. Okay. And Hangzhou is famous not only for its natural beauty, but also for its cultural tradition. It's also the home of silk in China. Its silk is famous for soft, fine, smooth texture and wonderful sheen. And besides, Hangzhou's Longjing tea, which I have shown you guys in the chapter of Chinese tea, right? And Longjing tea is famed for its fragrance and a wonderful luxurious flavor, pleasant leaf shape, and beautiful color. So if you like Longjing tea, I'd suggest you an old village called Meijiawu. Okay, it's at the rural area of Hangzhou and has a history of more than 600 years planting Longjing tea. And in this area, you can not only enjoy Longjing tea in the tea house, but also tranquilize your mind by immersing yourself in the peaceful atmosphere. And you can see this 3 picture is all taken by me. It's me. Okay, I'm in the Meijiawu, and you can see all these are I'm surrounded by the trees. Okay, and here's some dry tea in the tea house. Okay, and here this one is the Longjing tea boiled by the water. Okay. Okay, the fourth one, the fourth city is Nanjing. Okay, Nanjing is the capital of Jiangsu province, and It's the second largest international trade port after Shanghai in the Yangtze River Delta. And as an ancient capital, it's described as a birthplace of southern beauty and a habitat of royal rulers. Okay, important sites in Nanjing include the Nanjing Yangtze Bridge and the Confucius Temple, Sun Zhongshan Mausoleum, and the Memorial Hall of Victims of Nanjing massacres by Japanese invaders, etc. Okay. This is Nanjing Yangtze River Bridge. Okay. And this one is Confucius Temple. I think you guys must know the Confucius, the famous philosophical masters in China. Okay. And this, the Confucius Temple is lying in the south of Nanjing. Okay, and it's for secreting and worshiping Confucius. And the Confucius Temple was built during the Song Dynasty and expanded in the Eastern Jin Dynasty. Okay, and in the area surrounding the temple, residential housings, pavilions, tea houses, and inns spiral in the picturesque disorder along the Qinghua River. You can see this picture. And many businessmen and men of letters gathers here. In recent years, the Confucius Temple and its vicinity have been decorated with a sea of colorful lanterns, and people flocked here to enjoy the sight every year during the Spring Festival. And this is a mausoleum for Sun Zhongshan. Okay, in Chinese we call it Zhongshanling. Okay, this is to memorize Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Okay. This one, I want to draw your special attention. It's the Memory Hall of Victims in Nanjing massacre by Japanese invaders. Okay, in December 1973, Nanjing fell into the hands of Japanese invader, and the Japanese army launched a massacre that continued for 6 weeks. And according to the record of some welfare organization that buried the dead after this murder, according to around 300,000 people, most civilians and prisoners of the war, were brutally slaughtered that time. And in order to commemorate the victims, the memory hall was built in 1985, and it's located in the southwest corner of Nanjing, known as Jiangdongmen, and occupies an area about 25,000 square meters. And later in 1995, it was enlarged and renovated, and the building in the complex are fashioned out the black and white granite blocks, looking spectacular and magnificent, and render a feeling of solemnity and reverence. And it's an exhibition site with historical record and objects as well as architecture. Okay, and here's another video. I want to show you guys more about Nanjing. Okay, hope you guys can enjoy that. Okay, Nanjing also is a beautiful city, right? Okay. Let's continue for another. Wow. Today's who has his birthday today? Hassan, it's you. I see I see the message for the chat area. Someone says best birthday gift ever.
No, Laoshi, I was just, considering a king, give his mother to birthday gift.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I don't know the
Okay,
king's
sorry.
name, but
I confused with that.
yeah,
Sorry.
he gave a birthday gift to
Okay,
his mother.
okay, great. Okay, let's continue. Happy birthday to your mother. Okay. And next city is Xi'an. Okay. Xi'an was the capital of Shanxi province, and it has a beautiful landscape, fertile land, and a temperate climate. And it has the longest history as Chinese capital, spanning over 1,000 years and about 10 dynasties, and they include the Western Zhou dynasty, Qin, Western Han, Sui, and Tang dynasty, and it then was named as Chang'an. Okay, and the city scale of the Chang'an in the Han Dynasty was 3 times larger than that of the ancient Rome. Okay, and Chang'an in the Tang Dynasty was the largest and the busiest international metropolis in the world, as well as the start of the Silk Road, which connected the Europe and the Asian for the trade and the cultural exchanges. And Xi'an and its surrounding area are regarded as China's Museum of Nature and History. And then there are many historical attractions from the past, such as the ruin of the Qing Dynasty Epang Gong Palace and the Han Dynasty's Weiyang Palace and the Tang Dynasty Daming Palace, the great mosque, the big white goose pagoda and the small white goose, etc. And there's also a conceptional of imperial tubes like the Qing Han and the Tang tubes. And of there, the tube of Emperor Qin Shi Huang with its territory army is the most attractive and has been cited as the 80th wonder of the world. Okay. And you can see this picture. They are the big and the small white goose pagodas, the bear tower, the forest of Steelers, and the Huaqing hot spring. Okay. And the territory army of the Emperor Qin Shi Huang, like many emperors in Chinese history, Emperor Qin Shi Huang dreamed of immortality, the live forever. Okay, so since immortality was beyond his grasp, in order to have a better life in the other world, he started the construction of an enormous mausoleum. And being fully aware of the importance of the arming forces, he ordered that life-size terracotta figures be made and have them buried near his tomb to guard his soul. Thus, the terracotta army was formed. Okay. Some farmers discovered the terracotta army accidentally while digging a well in 1974, and archaeologists excavated a vault in which thousands of terracotta warriors and horses had remained entombed for over 2,000 years. And when we see this picture, okay, the terracotta warriors and the horses are with the color and dirt, but actually when they just digged out, they are full of color. It's oxidation that makes them change their color to green. Okay. Okay. And here I want to draw your special attention to one particular phenomenon in Xi'an. In Chinese, we call it 泾渭分明. The literal meaning is that water from Jinghe and the Weihe are entirely different. Like this picture, okay, Weihe is muddy, while Jinghe is clear. The peculiar thing is when the two waters meet each other, they don't mix with each other. They remain a clear distinction. So thus people always use 泾渭分明, okay, these words to express the meaning of entirely different or make a clear distinction between purity and impurity. Okay. And the sixth city is Kunming. You, you know, Kunming is the capital of Yunnan province, and it's known as the Spring City. The locals enjoy flowers throughout the year, so Kunming is named as a flower city. And its major tourist attraction include the sites of 99 World Hori Expo Garden, the Dianchi Lake, the Stowe Forest, and the Yunnan Nationality Village. Okay. And the seventh one is Guilin. Okay. Guilin lies in the northeast of the Guangxi Zhuangzhou autonomous region, enjoy a history of more than 2,000 years. And this city is known for its verdant mountains and elegant rivers, magnificent crags, and fantastic caverns. And it has been believed that Guilin has the finest mountain and water on the heaven. In Chinese, we call it 桂林山水甲天下. Okay, and the region of the Guilin takes on a karst feature. Okay, and the karst peaks here rise steeply out of the flat ground. Okay, and this one is Lijiang. Okay, it's very beautiful, right? And here, the last one is Lhasa. Okay, Lhasa is the capital of the Tibet autonomous region. Okay, it's one of the highest city in the world. It's recorded history dating from about 1,300 years ago. Okay. The Potala Palace, in Chinese we call it Budala Gong. Okay. This palace is located in the Red Hill, some 2 kilometers northwest of Lhasa. Okay. The Potala Palace was first built in the 7th century, and at that time, Songzan Ganbo established Tubo Kingdom in Tibet, and Lhasa was the capital. And when the emperor of Tang Dynasty sent a princess Wenchen to marry him, Songzan Ganbo decided to build a city of show glory and started to build the Potala Palace on the Red Hill. But it was destroyed later in a war. Nowadays the palace was built in the 7th century. Okay. And beside the cities mentioned before in previous slides, there are many other cities which are also worth traveling. Here are some pictures I took or I collect. Okay, once you travel in Shanghai or China, you'd better learn and how to use some apps. They can help a lot. For example, some 叫滴滴 or 大众点评 or some transportation apps. I think here there's an article in CIE website, in CIE WeChat, introducing about that. If you are interested in that, you can follow CIE WeChat and read that. Okay, how to learn some useful apps in China. And here, even I'm Chinese, there are still numerous cities I haven't been to. So I'd like to say, let's explore China together. You can see this
Sure,
picture.
Laoshi.
Yeah, they are so beautiful. Yeah. And okay, that's all for today. But here I'd like to share you good news and bad news. So which one do you prefer to hear first?
Bad
Bad
news
news
first, Laoshi.
Bad news
Laoshi,
first. Okay.
yeah, Laoshi, first we wanna hear bad news, then the good one.
Bad news is that you actually you have know that some of you didn't submit your midterm assignment in time. So for this guys, I'm afraid I have to say sorry to this guys. You are lose the 15% of your final score totally. Okay, and good news. What's the good news? Guess what's the good news?
No
Maybe we
homework.
don't have any homework,
don't
Laoshi,
have any
today. That's the
homework,
good
right?
news.
You know me. Yeah, no homework today.
Thank you, 老师.
It's good.
Yeah,
We
it's
need some
big good
spiritual
news,
knowledge, Laoshi. We
Laoshi.
can
I
pretend what's
believe,
gonna happen
right?
next.
Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sure, Laoshi.
谢谢老师，拜
Sure,
拜。
Laoshi.
Sure, Laoshi.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
man.
Thank you.
Bye bye.